Now, it's been a situation that's been talked about for decades, but it seems the message isn't getting through. Australians are notoriously underinsured. While it seems we'll happily spend money on policies for cars and contents, when it comes to life and income protection, it just gets overlooked. Our first guest tonight is behind a campaign aimed at raising awareness about insurance by targeting young people and new parents, as well as using social media. Holly Dorber is from Lifewise and joins me now. Holly, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Just go through some of the stats for us in terms of, life insurance and income protection. What are we missing out on?
Well, Lifewise is the campaign that we've started, and we've started it because 95% of Australian families just don't have the right levels of cover. And so I think the traditional thought about life insurance is it protects us against death. What we're talking to is income protection, about the importance of protecting your income when you are sick and injured and you just can't work anymore. Australians just don't have the right levels of cover. Our culture makes them feel like it'll be right, it'll never happen to me, and the government will take care of me.
See, most people I find, this is just anecdotal, but I'm sure you've got the numbers to back it up. When you talk to people about income protection, they all say, it's okay because I'm covered because of through my super fund.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case.
That's so true, and it further drives the disengagement. Every working Australian will have some level of cover through their superannuation fund, but unfortunately it just isn't enough. It's a great starting place, and that's what we're trying to do through Lifewise, is get people thinking about what cover do I have, where do I have it, find out how much they've got, and then find out how much is enough. And so through our Lifewise website, lifewise.org.au, you can visit our calculator to find out how much insurance is enough versus how much you have. And I think most people and most ordinary Australians would be surprised to find out how big that gap actually is.
So talk us through some of those numbers in terms of just looking at the calculator that you have. I think the average level of cover is about that you would need would be $530,000. This is if accident or injury or something prevented you from working, but the existing cover is about $127,000. So you've got that very big gap, and people just don't realise that the gap even exists.
They don't realise they have the gap that exists, and they don't realise what they're losing and what they're risking by not having that cover in place. So those stats come from the calculator. We've had over 15,000 people finish the calculator, and that's showing $400,000 is the shortfall. $400,000 would be most people's mortgage. What happens if you can't work anymore, or if you die unexpectedly? You'll have to sell your house, or your children might not be able to go to the school you want them. It's about protecting your lifestyle, and that's the message we're really just trying to get across.
Is it expensive though?
It's pretty affordable these days, and like we were talking before, in superannuation you can get cover for relatively inexpensive, and you can take it from your superannuation account. It just depends on your circumstances. So if you go and speak through your financial advisor to get cover, it will be more tailored to your circumstances, but in some cases you can get it for less than a cup of coffee a day.
Talk to us a bit about Lifewise. Who funds it? Where has it come from? What's its purpose?
Lifewise is a consumer awareness campaign that has been started on behalf of life insurers who have seen the impacts of underinsurance on their customers every single day. 95%, as I said, don't have the right levels of cover, and that can be devastating for a family. And so Lifewise has been started to talk to Australians where they want to communicate online, through social media, through our website, through a calculator. We've recently launched a partnership with one of Australia's leading social media websites, mamamia.com. And we're really just wanting to talk to Australians and have a conversation and just get them thinking about the risks that they're taking every day, and then go to our website and find out how much they've got versus how much they need.
I want to talk a bit about the social media stuff separately, but I suppose, the cynic in me, or the cynic in anyone, would say, well, it's a body that's been set up by the life insurers. You're just trying to scare more people into spending more money on something that they don't necessarily need. Does this have independent backing? Does it have the government coming on board and saying, you need to do this? Why aren't we hearing more from people like the government saying it's an issue?
I'm not sure why we're not hearing it. I think traditionally people understand, my house isn't insured, and the devastating bushfires and the recent floods have shown that people are underinsured on the general insurance side, and I think Australians would just lump all insurances together. Lifewise is specifically talking about protecting yourself and protecting your ability to earn an income. 83% of Australians insure their car, but 31% insure their ability to earn an income. Now, when you think about that logically and rationally, your car might be worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Your income can be worth upwards of $3 million over your lifetime. It's just a sensible decision. And to your point about who's funding this campaign, like I said, life insurers, they're not getting anything out of this other than raising awareness. I think it's easy to be cynical, but I say all credit to them. They've put their money behind this campaign that doesn't sell them anything, that will not say at the end of that calculator, now go and buy it. We just want to raise awareness so people understand the risks that they are taking on board every single day.
Okay. Talk to us about some of the target audiences that you have, because this is quite interesting. I mean, for income protection, you're looking at Gen X and Gen Y, who probably just, you know, let it go, haven't been paying that much attention because, you know, they probably do tend to think that illness or injury is something that would happen to an older person. They don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But also, interestingly, parents, you're targeting parents, you know, with babies and saying you need to really worry about this sort of stuff. So tell us how you're targeting those groups of people.
It's interesting. We started this year, we thought, where can we talk to people one-on-one without getting blocked? Where can we talk without people putting their fingers in their ears and saying, no, I don't want to hear you? We went to the baby and toddler shows around Australia, and we had one-on-one conversations with parents who either had just had their first baby or about to become parents for the first time, and we didn't know how we would be received. It could have just all gone terribly wrong. But when we talk to people one-on-one, they say, no, I get this. And a lot of people would say to us, oh, my husband doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. How can I talk to him about it? And so we've been really well received. We've talked to people directly. The other thing that we've done is conduct some research on attitudes to risk. So not making that direct connection to life insurance, but talking to, for example, Gen X versus Gen Ys and new parents' attitudes to risk. Things about what kind of risks do you take every day that you might not even realise are risks? Like, do you answer your mobile phone when you're driving? Or will people admit to driving while over the legal alcohol limit? And interestingly, in both cases, the numbers are quite high. Both generations will admit to doing those risky behaviours, but they think they're taking less risks. So it's just about getting people to think about them.
And just on the, you mentioned Mamma Mia with a little bit earlier, and that's sort of going down the social media plan. Can you just tell us a bit about what you're doing there?
Yeah, what we're doing with Mamma Mia is talking directly to Australian women where they want to talk, where they're having conversations, to get them start to have a conversation, to talk about risk, to talk about what's important to them, what do they value the most, that their lifestyle is something they're working really hard to build. But what happens if it all falls apart? We can never take away the emotional distress, but financial safety net, have a financial safety net. That's the message of Lifewise.
Okay, Holly, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Interesting topic.
Thanks.
After the break, we'll continue our theme of protecting your investments, this time for small business. Stay with us.